Given Nicki Minaj's long-standing history of falling out with female rappers that she once collaborated with, none of us are surprised to hear that she isn't featuring Ice Spice anymore. Especially after the text messages were leaked of Ice Spice sharing why she wasn't interested in signing with Nicki Minaj's label. I'm pretty sure she wasn't too happy to see those. But when it comes to JT, someone who has spent so much time defending and supporting Nicki Minaj, so much to the point that it has isolated her in the industry, you would think that JT wouldn't have to deal with a swift kick in the butt. But this is Nicki Minaj, and I need the rap girls to learn that the only person Nicki is featuring is herself. Let's talk about it.
Y'all already know what time it is. I got the black V-neck
on. So what's going on, you all? Another one has, well, two have bit the dust. Girl, somebody put the Tyra Banks meme of top model up because Nicki Minaj, again, has fallen out. Let's just say it. Let's just be completely honest and stop BSing around. Nicki Minaj is not cool with JT, and she's definitely not cool with Ice Spice. Especially, like I said, with the Ice Spice thing, I'm not really surprised. But again, Ice Spice had every reason to say, hey, I'm not signing with you. Like, I don't blame Ice Spice for not signing with Nicki Minaj at all. Like, I don't care. And it really gives manipulative, like, predatory behavior, to be honest, because, you know, I can only imagine Nicki trying to pressure this girl and say, I can do all these things. I mean, all of them do it. All of them do it. But trying to act as though you're a friend and you care about, only to sign them to a terrible, like, contract and all the other stuff. And it just doesn't make any sense. It didn't make any sense for Ice Spice. And then to get upset that these girls do not want to sign with you. Like, Nicki Minaj responded on Stationhead, an app that she goes on and she does an audio live stream of her thoughts. This is how she talks to the fans. And there's a specific audio of Nicki Minaj making comments about, you know, people not wanting to sign with her, but sign with the white man.
A motherfucker tell somebody they don't really want to, you know what I'm saying, sign with heavy on it, but then they'll go and sign with the white peoples. And guess who the white people's finna call? Always. Oh, nigga, Tanya Mirage, Betty.
Nicki Minaj, like, in a lot of situations, you are the white man. Like, you have reminded us that you align more with them. With the whole situation with Cardi B and how she was acting, you was calling her ghetto and all the other stuff. You made it your point to talk about, like, how she was acting around white folks, the good white folks. So I'm just not really understanding now you have a problem with white folks. It's like, you pick and choose when you want to be a part of Shea Butter Twitter. Now Black Lives Matter to you because a black person is not signing to your label that's going to be exploiting them. And Ice Spice is smart not to sign with you, to be honest. Girl, you're still signed in a shitty contract. Let's be honest. And, you know, I don't blame, you know, they ain't talking anymore. And even Ice Spice responded to it in an interview and just said that, you know, hey, like, we ain't the best of friends. We do good work together. Folks love to see us work together and collab. It is what it is. I doubt that Nicki is worried about what folks are saying online. That to me was shade because Nicki Minaj is definitely worried about what folks are saying online. She definitely spends a lot of time online talking to her fans to the point that they know certain things that she does is a hint towards how she feels about specific things, which is why she went to Stationhead. So in the Stationhead audio, we also hear Nicki Minaj talk about and basically give a response to folks asking what happened, why have you fallen out, or what's the tea, why you unfollowed these girls.
And don't ask me about nobody. Don't ask me about nobody, please. All right? If you don't see someone around me, if you don't see me talking about someone, if you don't see me playing any music with someone, don't ask me about them, okay? Go and talk to them. Leave us alone. Because the truth of the matter is, y'all don't want to know the truth of the matter. So that's why y'all always end up having to learn for yourselves and see for yourselves. Meanwhile, I've already been like, boop, bye. And still very much blessed and very much peaceful. Okay?
So I'm gonna be honest. When I first heard this audio, I was like, I hope that she's surrounded by friends and loved ones or whatever, because even in the theatrics of Nicki Minaj and how she talks, which I loved, I've always enjoyed how, she's a theater kid at heart. Like, she does funny things. I love it. It's hilarious. I mean, even her voice being in Steven Universe as, I don't know, Big Pink, I don't know what it was. I don't watch Steven Universe, but I loved it. Like, I know how it feels to be me. It feels so good to be me. Whatever she said. I was like, girl, you sound like a villain. Like, it's beautiful. This doesn't sound like Nicki Minaj. And that's all I'm going to say. This doesn't sound like playful Nicki Minaj. This sounds like somebody who is struggling with something. And I'm not saying addiction. That's not what I'm saying. Struggling with realizing that she isn't necessarily needed. And I think we've been seeing hints towards that. And her never-ending request for more visibility and to be seen as the top girl, the top female rapper, like her fans having to continuously give her more, like, you are that girl, like constantly having to remind her that she is that girl. And if there is anything I've learned from Game of Thrones, from Tywin Lannister, any man who must say I am the king is no true king. I know this came from a fictional show, but it is so real. Someone who has to keep saying these things, you must not be it. You can hint towards it. You can say it, like, but the way that Nicki does it, it is like, do you believe it? Do you believe it? You've done this for so long. It's okay, mama, to sit down. You've been very successful. You've done a lot of things. It is time to sit down and enjoy the fruits of your labor. But you're still holding on to things that are gradually slipping away. And you are now allowing your anger to isolate your fan base even more. Because now your fan base has to explain why you are not cool with JT anymore. When JT hasn't done anything. JT hasn't done anything. She hasn't liked anything. She hasn't, all the things that she hasn't collaborated with folks who Nicki Minaj don't fool with. That's one of the things that Nicki Minaj use. Oh, you collaborate with such and such. I don't fool with you. Like, all of the things do not add up for JT. It does not add up for why she falled out with JT. And before folks say, well, she just unfollowed, again, going back to what I said earlier, Nicki Minaj does things to hint towards her fans how she feels. Which is why when they asked why she unfollowed and why she ain't messing with JT, she says they know what they did. To give this cryptic message where she can't explain because it wouldn't make sense, but she's going to say just enough. Just know, because trust my word. That's what she did. That's what she did. And it's going to be enough for her fans. But earlier this summer, when JT released her album, her whatever she wants to call it, EP or whatever it is, which I've heard good things about, Nicki Minaj got on Stationhead again and it was being shady. And folks was like, is she talking about JT? Like, what's going on?
But you also have to question why a person would go from unliking you to loving you. Is that odd? Well, you don't say.
Even to the point that fans was like, if she's out here talking about JT, I'm not fooling with her. Y'all are able to dissect everything that Nicki Minaj says, from her music to how she moves online. But y'all need a little bit more to be able to see that y'all fave is out of it. Like, no shade. Like, you need more. When she has a history of doing these things, you knew exactly what she meant when she said that. She was talking about JT. Like, let's stop this cryptic mess. But she knows she would look stupid as hell saying that, you know, I just don't fucking, because it's like, girl, again, that was the thing. Like, girl, people joked about how long it would be before they fell out. People tweeted Ice Spice when she was gassing Nicki Minaj up in the interview and said, girl, you won't be talking like this a year from now. And here we are. Here we are. Like, before she even said it publicly that they ain't cool, girl, you was talking mess about how you felt about how predatory she was, trying to get you to sign to this label. And she was mad. And now Nicki is pissed that y'all ain't really doing anything. Y'all purpose has been served and she has no use for you all anymore. Nicki Minaj only talks to the girls like that because she feels like they need her. In a sense, they do need her, because once you side with her, you are kind of stuck with her. Because if you go and work with any other artist, like the multiple ones that she doesn't really fool with, she's going to shun you. She's going to remind you. She's probably going to tell you not to work with them. She's probably going to tell you that. And you are stuck with her. And I feel like Ice Spice said, no, I'm getting out this early. Like, I think Ice Spice is probably happy that she's not cool with her, because now she's free to do other things. Maybe take some more pictures with Cardi B. Ice Spice she's not talented per se, but she's not dumb.
No, my bad. I'm sorry.
She knows what's going on. But for JT, who has shown her like so much respect to the point that she has toned her own self down in that Instagram live where Nicki told her to rap the song, the diss track that she made against her. Like, no, go ahead, say it.
When diss track is against me in the car, when you was in the car. How that song go? Rap that song right now.
My diss song is saying, wait, what it say? Nicki can't rip no. She ain't even from the street. So I was in my Jeep, my Lucy braces.
No, finish it. Keep it going.
Wait, I don't remember. I don't know. I scared. Nicki ain't even fucking street. She ain't. Wait, Nicki can't rip no fucking bitch. She ain't even from the street.
Where she basically son JT. Like, she basically, and JT can say whatever, and I love me some JT. The Cinderella princess, all the hood I love her down, period. But she was sunned in that moment. And she knows it. She knows it. She's right now on tour doing her things, doing her rounds. Honestly, no shade. Sexy Red should be taking some notes, to be honest, because JT is doing it. You know, she at these pizza parties or barbecues, whatever y'all want to call it, but she is out here at these venues that are catered towards her, and she's building a audience, and she's getting it in, and I don't blame her. I don't blame her. The only issue that I have is that JT, you've kind of like sacrificed so much in a sense to be connected to her. Like, no shade, but Megan was like supporting you. Like, she said, free JT. She was messing with you. Like, she appreciated you. And I'm really disappointed, because I feel like JT and Meg, I would have loved to hear JT and Megan do something. I would have loved to hear it. And I hope one day that we do get it. But JT, like, it looks kind of silly that the week of the Hiss and Bigfoot drama, Nicki Minaj was saying all this disgusting things and what have you, and you was out here like talking about like how good of a what's name she was. Like, it wasn't like it was an interview that you did and it was asked. It was just, you just came out on Twitter and said it. So you've isolated yourself. And I will say you're doing really good right now. Like, I will say that you're doing good right now. But you were rewarded with what? At what cost? At what cost? Like, what did you benefit? Did you and Nicki do a song together? Maybe y'all did. Maybe I just haven't heard it. But the fact I haven't heard it says something. What has Nicki Minaj given you? She helped you with some verses. So you can go out and say that she helped you with some verses, reminding folks that she has a good pen game, which we already know. Let's be honest. Nicki Minaj right now isn't doing well. And I'm not talking about mentally because I can't diagnose her. But there's a reason no music videos have been released from this latest project. Like, there's no music videos. She's had to add more tour dates. Like, you know, there's rumors of her having to pay back some money and being in debt, which is not surprising. Not surprising at all. And you know, some shows, some clips, she doesn't look like she's having fun. She doesn't look like that she's happy. There's something going on. And I think for Nicki, I feel for her in this moment because all of the things that she is now weaponizing have beat her up so bad. Her being the only female rapper at the top and all of these things and reminding, like, what does that mean when there were no other female rappers? Like, she has benefited from that. And now to see so many other girls like coming up, it's just like, what's happening? Like, she wants to be the only woman at the table. She wants to be the one who is in the room with a bunch of men. And it's not necessarily all of her fault because, you know, the industry was trash. Like, you know, misogyny exists. Like, you know, even she talked about her experiences of dealing with being the only like black woman in the room and how she was, you know, sexualized and all the other stuff, how she was forced to, you know, get surgeries and stuff to appeal to the male gaze. Like, she's talked about that. But she hasn't really tried to understand how it affects her in 2024. How she looks at these other girls and feels like she's helping them out. And it's like, girl, you're trying to benefit yourself. Nothing you're doing for these girls is in the benefit of female rap or the artistry at all. It's at the benefit of you. It's at the benefit of you. And now you have fallen out with these girls and you don't talk to them or whatever. Like, I'll give you Ice Spice. JT doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense in theory. It doesn't make sense on paper. It doesn't make any sense. The only thing that it makes you look like is a bully. A bully that has a issue with other folks coming up and being just as talented as you. You laughing and making fun of these rap girls for not selling as much as you and shading Lotto and Megan for their numbers and stuff. It's like, girl, why do you keep being obsessed with numbers? If we look at your numbers compared to other artists who you try to compare yourself with, you don't even add up. Like, that's how I know you don't care about the artistry and you don't care about female rap, because you are so concerned about the numbers instead of saying like, hey, that was a good bar. You never say that. Like, you never, oh, that was a good bar. Like, you're talking about sales. And no shade, girl, Pink Friday 2 is a disaster, to be honest. Like, that album came out in December. The rollout was tragic. All of the things. You didn't have a theme until the girls got on AI and helped you out. Like, the best Pink Friday 2, like, it, no thought, like, you were relying on nostalgia, like, of your fan base, and that's all they have, to be honest, because the new music has not been that good. And if their music and that album did amazing and it was, you know, doing the things, we would be out here getting music videos. We don't have any music videos, none of them. Now you're talking about re-releasing a reloaded version with additional songs, and your fans is like, girl, what is this? This is not what we want. Girl, you're thirsty. You're thirsty. And I don't think anybody has anything to quench your thirst, because you need to go get that in check. There is no reason for you to be 41 years old and coming at these girls for not doing your numbers. Because in the event that they do more numbers than you, what is going to be your excuse then? What is going to be your excuse if a white girl comes and she does numbers more than, like, what does that mean when you are obsessed with numbers? You are obsessed with numbers, and then you put yourself in this situation where if your numbers don't do what they're supposed to, you have to find a way out. When it should be talking about the craft. But we know it's not about the craft, which is why you choose certain TikTok sounding songs that you said you were not interested in doing to get the attention. Like, nobody's out here saying Pink Friday 2 is the best album like of yours. Nobody is saying that. And they'll be a fool to say it. It's not a good album. It's not a good body of work. And you know it's not. Like, we can tell how you're moving. This is a cash grab for you. Like, all of the things and the things that you had to bend over backwards to get this album that many sales. Like, girl, you were doing so much to get this album, like, the sales up. Like, you were doing so much work that it had to work. Your fans were buying 4-6 albums. Like, I did not buy these girls' albums. I listened to it because I enjoyed it. That's where it should be at. I listened to the album because I enjoyed it. And I keep listening to it because it's good. I'm not continuously playing the song to get it number one and whatever, and then it's still falling off the next week. Like, that's not what's going on. It's organic stuff. And I need us to move away. And I'm so glad that there's conversations about our obsession with charts and how it really doesn't mean anything when it comes to like these labels and stuff. Like, it doesn't mean the music is good. There are songs that have came out years ago that were not being played. Now folks are finding, like, even in the event with Kendrick Lamar and his album, I think the last album he put out, that folks were not listening to it as much, but during the Drake and Kendrick beef, people started back listening to the albums like, oh, wow, this is a good body of work. That's what it should be about. You putting out a good product, and if they enjoy it, they enjoy it. But we are so obsessed with streams that, girl, we're not producing good quality of work. Like, capitalism and like artistry cannot coexist like that. It cannot coexist, because if you spend your time trying to make it money and get like higher streams, you don't actually focus and take time to maybe take a chance on a different sound or a different thing. You're trying to do things to get the ears of what you think the audience wants. And that's your issue. That's why you have not been able to grow as a 41-year-old rapper with 10 plus years in the game. There's a reason why you don't have an album that is aged and mature. You don't have an album where we are like, oh, wow, Nicki really sounds like somebody who is 40 years old, like, not in a bad way. You're making kitty bops and then out here mad that the girls who are out here getting it and trying to make it work are eventually probably going to top you if they keep going, because the way they are moving is more on the work and the artistry versus trying to appeal to something that you don't even know what is.